Alan is a good worker, but a poor negotiator. Trace his progress at Portrad Systems, and you'll see how and where he makes mistakes.
I've got 10 minutes.
When Alan meets with opposition at work, he finally learns that if agreement is essential, you have to negotiate.
We've had quite a few incidents.
This guide contains a brief description of the contents of the program. You can skip to the final screen at any time by pressing a button on the handset. The program is divided into 3 main sections: Screen, Study, and Supplementary. Let's take a look at each of these areas in turn. Selecting the Screen option enables you to access the video in 2 different ways. Linear play will simply run the video straight through from beginning to end. This takes around 30 minutes. In chapter play, the video is broken down into 7 sections or chapters, each with a brief introduction and summary, and is ideal for using as a stop-start showing of the video, where you can provide your own discussion questions and commentary. Like chapter play, the study option allows the video to be played in chapters, each with its own introduction and summary. These chapters have been edited to focus on the main learning points in the story. Each study block also contains on-screen questions, based on the learning points raised in each video sequence. In the self-study part of this program, the study blocks contain additional audio feedback to the questions, so you may find it useful to review that section in more detail. The supplementary section contains 4 elements. Key points can be used as a basis for summarizing the main points of the program. The exercise option features the manager of a sports centre who calls a meeting with some of her colleagues to discuss the location of the new creche. Trainees can observe how this group of people finally reach agreement and answer a series of questions to test their understanding of the process of negotiation. The library contains a selection of reference material for further study. And finally, 40 Ways to Improve Negotiations is a checklist of some of the major do's and don'ts of negotiation. The program itself is very easy to use. To make selections, you simply click on the appropriate menu option, control, or question box. To change between trainer and self-study mode, select the switch button on the main menu. You can operate the video and other moving sequences, such as key points and library, by using a control panel at the foot of the screen. The panel is activated by clicking a button on the handset. There are 2 versions of the panel. One for the audio-visual sequences, and one with added functions for the video clips. Using the cursor to make a selection, you can pause, or restart the sequence, replay the current sequence, skip to the end of the section, or return to the menu. The control panel for the video sequences has 2 extra functions: fast forward and rewind. These take you forwards or backwards through the program at 7 or 8 second intervals. To turn off the control panel, simply move the cursor to the right-hand side of the screen. The panel will automatically disappear.
That was just a little something to brighten up your day, but don't go away, folks. The best is still to come. With me in the studio, I've got Brigitte, a lovely lady with a rather unusual hobby. Then in our What's New in Local Industry spot, Dr. Leo Spears is going to be talking about robots. But before that, we've got our daily recipe.
This is a completely integrated approach.
That's great, Leo. And it's a big breakthrough, is it, for Britain?
Well, it's certainly a step forward. It's a completely integrated approach to the whole manufacturing process.
Great, Leo. That's great. Sounds really exciting. Thanks for coming on the show. And now for another breakthrough for Britain.
Great, Leo. Great interview.
Morning, Debbie. I warned you about this hole.
Oh, morning, Alan. See you've had the decorators in.
Yes. Why isn't that post done?
A couple of minutes.
Have you seen that muck on the wall outside?
Yeah.
Get on to Parker's and tell them I want it off ASAP today, and get a price off them before they start.
What if they can't?
Then ring round and find someone else. And if you can't, you and Derek and you can stay after work and do it.
Oh, is he joking or what?
You never know with him. Graffiti.
Done it.
Alan has
Done it.
Sorry?
I've done it. I've booked the contractors.
When will
They'll all be off by tonight.
That's great, Alan, but we've got some Japanese coming round.
And you want it done now?
Well, by lunchtime.
Dan, while you're here, what about the security system? If we had a proper, up-to-date system, this wouldn't have happened.
Not now, Alan. Anyway, we're moving. It's just not something we're going to spend money on.
No problem.
Morning, Leo. What are you looking so pleased about?
Leo's just agreed that his people should have performance reviews like everybody else.
Miserable sod. Did you hear him on the radio?
I knew I'd get there in the end.
Yeah, well, it's easy for you.
Oh,
Well, you know.
yeah? Why?
Nothing.
'Cause I'm a woman? Don't even think that, Alan. He's agreed because I persuaded him. I got him to want to do it.
Maybe you should talk to Dan about the security system. You know he wants me to get the front cleaned up by lunchtime. It's impossible.
You'll think of something. You love it, really.
Brilliant, Alan. Brilliant.
Dan, the security system. And we got to talk about it.
Well,
Now, what I suggest...
the answer is yes.
But what about the move?
It's been on and off for so long. We just decided we had to get this sorted out.
Great. Fantastic.
Alan,
There's going to be a few changes around here, I can tell you.
Alan,
Going to get some proper systems sorted out.
for God's sake, Alan, will you listen to me?
But I just meant...
I know what you meant. I just want you to consult with everyone that's going to be affected. Do you understand that?
I'll do a memo.
No, Alan, I want you to talk to them. I want you to go round and I want you to talk to each head of department and explain what's going to happen. Because it's going to affect everyone in the company.
Okay.
And Alan,
Yeah?
all this applies particularly to Leo Spears.
Yeah? Why's that?
Because I know you don't get on with him.
I'm a professional. I wouldn't let that get in the way.
And also because his people work late and so on.
If we're going to have a security system, they're going to have to fit in same as everyone else.
Oh, come on, Alan. Try and understand the politics of this thing. Leo Spears is an important man in the company, right? If we're going to bring in a system that affects his department, it has to be with his agreement. Do you understand what I'm telling you?
me to go creeping round to Leo. Yes, sir, no, sir, 3 bags full, sir. It's my job to get this system in, and that's what I'm going to do. The best system at the best price. And I'm going to grind this bloke into the ground.
Well, Leo.
This salesman. You watch. I told you. I had him eating out of the palm of my hand.
Yeah. You sure he'll agree?
Yeah.
Well, he might not.
Stuffed him.
Oh, it's not a fight, is it?
Yes, it is. If we get a better deal, he gets a worse one. So, he's stuffed.
Yeah, as long as we get a deal.
We will.
You all right?
We did it! They said yes!
Oh, that's great.
I told you! Stuffed him! Oh, Leo.
What was that?
I was talking to someone else, but I'm glad I bumped into you, Leo, because I've been trying to reach you all day to fix up a meeting.
Really?
Yeah, about the new security system.
What's that?
Well, I sent you a memo.
Is it something we need to have a meeting about?
Or we can talk about it now if you've got a minute.
Alan! I've been looking for you everywhere.
I'll be with you in a minute. Leo.
Okay.
I was just going to sort Leo out.
What about?
The security system.
Well, in the corridor?
Just let him know what's going on.
Is that wise?
Why?
Well, these people work funny hours and their access to the building is going to be restricted. I'd have thought that was a bit sensitive.
So?
So don't try and sort it out in the corridor.
But I can never get hold of him.
Oh, don't be feeble, Alan. Make an appointment. Work out what you want him to agree to and why, and go in there properly prepared.
Here ended the first lesson. What did you want?
Can you give me a lift?
Sorry. Got my session tonight.
Oh, judo?
Aikido.
Tough stuff.
Not really. It's all in the mind.
To win, you must understand 2 people. If you do not understand yourself, you will always lose. If you do understand yourself, you may win, but often you will lose. If you understand yourself and your opponent, you will always win.
Come in. Oh, hello. Sit down. I won't be a moment. I've got 10 minutes.
Well, like I said, it's about the new security system. Now, we've had quite a few incidents, and it's been decided that we're going to have a comprehensive electronic security system. And that's going to mean contacts on doors to all landings and infrared detectors in all corridors and open plan areas. And we're going to be having a security firm patrolling. That's a visiting patrol at nights and weekends. So you can see we'll be having a very comprehensive security cover.
Yes.
So that'll mean we shouldn't be getting any more unwelcome visitors. I mean, we wouldn't want anyone getting in seeing what you boffins are up to.
Well, I don't think your average burglar would find much to interest him up here.
Well, anyway, we are getting this new security system, and that's going to mean that access is going to have to be controlled. Access to the building outside normal working hours.
You telling me that my people will only be able to get in here between 9 and 5?
8 to 8. We want to be as flexible as possible.
So they can't stay after 8 o'clock?
That's right.
And weekends?
Oh no, there won't be access at weekends.
It's ridiculous. I'm not prepared to listen to any scheme that will prevent my people from getting into this building when they need to.
But the system's been ordered.
And you'd better unorder it.
There could be a fire. I'm not taking any chances.
Don't worry, folks. Just testing. Just testing the system. Don't panic. Just testing. Just testing.
Derek,
Yeah?
what's Alan doing?
Is he a bird? Is he a plane? No, he's security man.
Come on, Derek.
No, don't worry, it's just testing.
Sitch, knee, stand, she, go, rock, sitch, touch, turn, jer, hitch, knee, stand, she, go, rock. Alan, take over the count.
Touch, good, good. Ditch, knee, sun, she, go, rock, hitch, touch, good, good. Ditch, knee, sun, she, go, rock, hitch, touch.
What happened?
When I left the building, the alarm went off.
So she called me. I did send you a memo saying we could make special arrangements if we had notice.
If it's all the same to you, Sarah, if we could switch the alarm off first, please.
We'll sort this out in the morning.
I'm sorry, I didn't know anything about it.
Get you out of bed, did we?
Thanks. I'll unlock it for you.
Thank you.
The whole thing's a complete and utter shambles. I told you this was sensitive. I told you Leo was an important man in the firm. I told you to make sure that whatever was done with his agreement.
But he's just not prepared to listen.
He's not prepared to listen. What about you? Did you listen to him? Did you find out what his problem is?
Yeah. He wants his people to be able to get into the building outside office hours. They can get in between 8 and 8. And if we get advance warning, we can let people in at other times. I was listening to him. He wasn't listening to me. We've got to have a security system. He's just got to accept that.
But he hasn't, has he? At least he hasn't accepted the implications in terms of limiting his people's freedom of access.
Well, then someone should tell him.
What?
That this is company policy and he's got to do it.
You really do live in a very simple world, don't you, Alan? Where people tell other people what to do and they jump and do it. Alan, you can't make people do things anymore. You have to get their agreement.
Well, could you talk to him?
Why?
Because you're a director for a start.
So?
Well, maybe he'd listen to you.
You have to make it work, Alan, with Leo. So you and he have to thrash it out. I can't do it for you.
You heard what happened last night?
He must have got Leo out of bed.
It was only 8 o'clock.
Yeah, but he goes to bed for an hour when he gets home. He must have been pleased. And you in your kung fu outfit.
Aikido.
I do wish I'd been there. You all right?
I don't know what I'm going to say to Leo.
Well, what do you want from him?
I want him to let me get this system up and running.
What's he going to say to that?
I don't know. He's completely unreasonable. I mean, the decision's been made and he's just got to fit in with it.
But listen to yourself, Alan. You must keep your emotions out of it. Try to think it through. What's he going to say to you?
He'll say his people have got to be able to get into the building.
And what are you going to do about it?
I don't know.
Look, you must know before you see him. You've got to be completely clear about what you want to get out of this meeting.
I do know.
And how you're going to do it.
I do know what I want. I want the most effective, most efficient security system at the best price.
Yeah, but you won't get that if it means his research people can't get into the building when they need to.
Well, they'll just have to agree.
Have you thought that you might have to agree with them? If you keep on saying there's only one way out of this, it might be you that ends up not getting anything. Oh, they could just scrap the system.
What, just after they've put it in?
Look, Alan, if it comes to the point, which do you think's more important? The work they do or your system?
They're both important.
Right. So, you've got to try and find a way that gives them what they really want and you what you really want. But first you have to work out what you really want. Not what you'd like to have, but what you really must have. Yeah?
Yes.
So, what is that?
I want an effective security system.
Okay. What does Leo really want?
He wants his people to have access to the building any time they want to.
Right, so now we know what you want, and we think we know what he wants. Although you have to make sure of that when you start talking to him.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Well, how am I going to do that?
I thought that was obvious. You ask him. Ask him what's important to him. And listen to him.
Yeah. Listen.
Okay, Alan, I'm busy, all right?
Oh, no. Really. Sorry. Please, Debbie, I'm in a real fix.
Well, when you start talking to him, make sure you catch everything he's telling you. And all the things he isn't telling you.
Like?
Is he relaxed or at ease? What makes him uncomfortable? What turns him on? Watch and listen.
Okay. So I'm in there, and I know what I want, and I've thought about what he wants, and I ask questions, and I listen. Well, then what do?
You find the things you can agree on easily and use that as your starting point. You build on the things you agree on.
We don't agree on anything.
What about the security of his department?
What?
He must be concerned about the security of his department.
He doesn't believe anybody would want to break in there.
How do you know?
I tried that.
What did you say?
I just said we didn't want people getting into the research department.
That's exactly what you said.
Yeah, well, I tried to make it a joke. I said we didn't want anybody finding out what his boffins were up to.
What was his reaction?
He said your average burglar wouldn't be interested.
And then?
What?
What did you say?
I said we're having the system anyway, so we'll just have to restrict access.
You walked straight into that. You're supposed to be avoiding conflict, finding things you agree on. You did the opposite. The fact is, there's some very secret stuff up there, and if he thinks about it, he's got to be concerned about security. That's your area of agreement, and you've got to make him aware of it.
But in the end, there are some things we just don't agree about.
Well, of course. That's where you have to be creative. Work at finding a solution.
Like what?
Well, I don't know. Think about it. Work something out. But why can't you give them all the alarm number?
Oh, no.
Why not?
It just blows the system wide open. People write numbers down, things like that. It's got to be restricted to the minimum number of people.
Well, you just have to give it some thought, Alan, won't you? And when you have reached an agreement, make sure you both know what's been agreed on so there's no misunderstandings. And now I really must get on, Alan, if you don't mind.
But you still haven't told me how to get him to agree that all his people can't have access all the time.
No, you've got to be creative, Alan, not me. I'll give you something to think about while you're doing your jiu-jitsu.
Aikido. Thanks, Debbie. Know what you really want and work out what he wants. Keep your feelings out of it. Find things you can agree on and build on them. Check that he's going along with you. Look for solutions. Be creative. Agree what you have agreed.
Know what you want. Know what he wants. Avoid conflict. Find common ground. Test acceptance. Be creative. Confirm agreement.
Hello, Leo.
Yes?
The meeting about the security system.
I won't be a minute. The security system.
Yes. I thought that we should try and see if we can find a way to make the system work for you.
Good night. No. Well, you know what I think?
You want your people to be able to get into the building outside office hours.
Yes.
Is that everyone?
Yes.
Including the technicians?
Well, they tend to work office hours, some overtime.
And are they normally supervised?
Yes. Usually.
And what about the non-technical people? You know, the library, secretarial and so on?
No, I'm just talking about researchers.
Right. So the non-technical people don't need access later than the normal...
They certainly do. We don't work 9 to 5 up here, you know.
Everyone can get in between 8 and 8. It's just outside those times that's the problem. So, would it be fair to say that the non-technical people are all right if they can get in between 8 and 8? And the technicians are normally supervised by the researchers. So, if we could find a solution as far as the researchers are concerned, would that be satisfactory? How many people are we talking about?
Oh, there's me and, 5.
Have you ever had any problems with security? Things going missing? Anything like that? There was that time when, I can't remember, to America took some things he shouldn't have done.
Well, that's got nothing to do with what we're talking about. I was just plain disloyal and dishonest.
But there are some things you wouldn't want to get into the wrong hands.
Well, obviously. We've got some very sensitive stuff up here. But it's not the kind of thing your common or garden burglar would be interested in.
But someone else might be.
I don't believe our competitors would steal our secrets.
Well, it's not the sort of thing we'd want to test out, is it? Of course, there is another thing about burglars. They cause a terrible lot of damage.
We're insured?
I was thinking of the disruption. I'm sure we agree we need security. It's just a question of doing it without stopping your people doing their work.
So you do see what my problem is?
Oh, yes. It's just trying to find a way around it.
Well, why don't you give them all the alarm codes?
I wish I could. But the security companies say if we do that, it'll just blow the system wide open. I really wish I could.
Well, what about just me and the researchers? I mean, 5 people.
So you'd be happy for those 5 to let the others in and out if that was necessary?
I didn't say that.
No, I'm sorry. But if just you and the researchers had the number and not the technicians or the other staff, could you make that work?
Yeah, I should think so.
The trouble is, it's just no good from the security point of view. At the moment, only 3 people have the number, and the security companies say that's how it should stay.
I can't see what I can do about that.
Well, there is a way out.
Yeah?
That's getting the security men in to let your people in and out of the building.
That sounds very cumbersome.
They're only 10 minutes away.
Right, so my people have to ring up 10 minutes before they want to get into or leave the building. I mean, what happens if there's a fire?
No, they can get out of the building, but the security men have to set the alarm when they leave. So it's very important that your people don't forget. And only staff who really have to should be able to do this.
So we're back to me and the researchers again.
Would you be happy with that?
I'd have to talk to them.
But you think it might work?
Possibly, yes.
OK. So we've agreed. You'll talk to your people about getting the security company to let you in and set the alarm when you leave. And you'd supervise the technicians and any other of your staff who are working late. There's only one problem.
What's that?
Well, the cost. It's £35 for a call-out.
Well, I'm not paying for it.
I thought you'd say that. But I think I know of a way for us both to get what we want.
Yeah.
Well, we both agree that your people must have access at all times.
Mm-hmm.
And we agree that there must be a security system.
Mm-hmm.
And we agree that the best way to achieve these two things is for your people to be able to call security in when they want to be able to get into the building.
I said I'd talk to them and see what they think.
You said there was a good chance we could get it to work. And you'll supervise any other staff in the building.
Research department staff.
Now, what I suggest is that I should talk to Bob Bartles and explain the problem and try and get him to increase my budget.
So you'll pay for it?
Yes, but I need two things from you. An estimate of how often this is going to happen.
Well, I don't know that.
Well, I'm not asking for a fixed figure, just your best estimate. And we'll treat the first 3 months as a trial period.
All right, I'll do that.
And the other thing, which would be very helpful, is a note from you to Bob to explain that this is the only way that we can get the security to work as far as you're concerned.
Well, it isn't, is it? You can give my people the code numbers.
Well, all right, say that. Say, apart from handing out the code numbers, this is the best solution. Them ringing security.
I don't see what this is going to achieve.
I just want us to present a united front. We both want the same things. We've agreed on that. It's just a question of getting someone to pay for it.
And if they won't?
Well, I'll just have to talk them round to it, won't I?
Well, I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll talk to my people, and if they agree, I'll come back to you and we'll sort out what we have to do to get the money.
Great. I'll send you a memo to confirm what we've agreed.
Fine.
Bob's all right. I don't think we're going to have a big problem. When's the demo going to be?
Beginning of next month, we think. Fingers crossed.
I suppose you never know till it's actually ready.
Well, sometimes you think you're ready, then you wheel it out before you know what...
Did you see that?
What? What is it?
Definitely saw something.
You all right?
Oh, I'm fine. I could hold him like this all night.
I didn't know you did karate.
Aikido.
The main aim of this course is to help you become a better negotiator, particularly in those circumstances where it's very important you reach agreement with another party. The course has 3 main teaching objectives. These are helping you to understand the process of negotiation, showing that a combative approach will make negotiation more difficult, and finally, showing the benefits which can be gained by negotiating successfully. Negotiation can reconcile conflicting interests in almost every human environment, and there are processes of negotiation which you can apply in all these areas. These are knowing what you want, knowing what the other person wants, avoiding conflict, divorcing personalities from issues, finding common ground, testing acceptance, being creative, and eventually confirming agreement. All of these processes are the basis on which to conduct negotiations with a win-win outcome. Fundamentally, it is not a combative but a cooperative process. Approaching negotiations as a battleground from which there can only be a winner and a loser may be successful, and in some cases can be the most appropriate option. But there are pitfalls. These include short-term gains. Combat will produce a winner, but the loser is unlikely to view defeat as an incentive to deal pliably with the winner in the future. Short-term gains can mean losing out significantly in the longer term, because in business at least, long-term relationships generally bear the most fruit. And the outcome of a win-lose scenario is also that the loser may hinder the implementation of what was in dispute. For example, if Alan had forced Leo to agree to the security system on Alan's terms, Leo could have made the security system unworkable. While battle produces casualties, consensus involves agreement between all parties. And an environment in which consensus rules is a happier and more productive place than one which is littered with the debris of warfare. The benefits of negotiation are, not surprisingly, the opposite of the pitfalls of a combative approach. They include more productive and effective negotiations for both an individual and an organisation. That's because constantly fighting to impose your will on someone who fights back is wearing and inefficient. More effective and harmonious working relationships. Using a win-win approach can be demanding and time-consuming, but those with whom you are negotiating will be more inclined to work with you than against you. And the result of negotiating is that your time and energy, and that of others, is put to better use. Negotiation takes place whenever there are conflicting interests, which must be resolved. Look at the following sequences and see how negotiating techniques can be used successfully. You will also see how problems can be solved and working relationships strengthened. Jenny is manager at the Spring Hill Sports and Recreational Centre, but she has a problem which is going to cause a few headaches. Amanda runs the gym and is an aerobics instructor. Bill is in charge of the swimming pool and its personnel. Sam is a jack of all trades, in charge of maintenance.
Right, thanks for coming in early, everyone. This issue's something that has to be discussed by all of us before any decision is made.
Oh, sounds serious. What's the problem?
I've heard we can go ahead with the creche. It's been on the back burner for ages. Now we can have it.
Great. That'll make it a lot easier for me in the mornings. I can bring my kids along with me.
Hopefully, Bill, but there is a problem. The centre's owners won't build new space, so we have to adapt what we have. I was looking at 2 possible areas in particular.
Well, not mine, I hope. We're busy all the time. There's no room for a creche.
I'm afraid I can't be of much use to you, Jenny. The pool area is always busy too.
I realise that, and that's why we're meeting. I want to explore all options and see if we can work something out. We'll make no changes till we're agreed about them. I was thinking that since the gym is already partitioned at various times for different activities, maybe we could section one area off permanently without causing too much disruption.
Oh, that wouldn't work, Jenny. Anyhow, it's unfair. Why should we be the ones to lose out?
It's only a suggestion, nothing more. I want to discuss it with all of you.
It makes sense. It's the largest area after all.
The other idea, Bill, was to take one of the changing areas and divide it. The second changing area could be opened up and the entrance altered as we see fit. There's plenty of room there. It could work. What do you think?
Well, it doesn't appeal to me, but do I have any say in the matter?
Yes, of course you do. That's why we're here, to try and find a realistic and feasible solution.
Jenny wants this issue to be resolved. What's her approach to the problem?
I want to discuss both options and any others you can think of. Then we'll try to agree on what's best.
I can't see why I should be the one to be singled out.
You're not, Amanda. It's our problem, and hopefully, when we've discussed it further, we'll come to an arrangement that satisfies us all and works best for the centre.
Well, it seems to me that the gym would be a better place, Jenny. It's got a door near the car park, it's well ventilated, and it would cost little enough to convert it in a short space of time.
Well, looks like you've made up your mind already, Bill. My area gets the chop and yours stays the same.
Look, I'm not a great one for meetings, but it seems to me if we're going to reach some sort of agreement, we need to look at it from all angles and not take everything so personally.
Well, I just think from a safety point of view, and that with all the other options we could come up.
Why do you think Sam's reaction is different?
Listen, I wanted you all here to discuss it. Why don't we try to do that?
Well, there's no point, is there? It's been decided already and there's little I can do about it. Now, I've got to go. I've got a class in 10 minutes, while I still have somewhere to have one.
Oh, this is just what I wanted to avoid.
Amanda's reaction is negative. She feels there's no room for her opinion. Why is that so? Do you think Jenny was prepared for the reaction she got?
Well, Sam, what do you think? You know the building and our limitations. Have you got any ideas?
Not immediately, no, but look, let me think it over and I'll see what I can come up with.
Thanks, that would be a great help.
Well, can't you postpone the creche for a while? Maybe we could persuade them to build something outside.
I'm sorry, Bill. They won't change what they've already agreed, and I had to push hard for that. And Amanda, please try and work with us on this one.
I thought you understood. The gym's not suitable. The pool can afford the space more than I can.
Amanda, Bill, we have to agree what's best for everyone concerned and for the general good of the centre. Think about it. I'll call another meeting for tomorrow.
OK, but don't expect too much.
I've been thinking, maybe there is a way of dealing with this that won't upset too many people.
What have you got in mind?
Well, we've got some space we haven't thought about right here beside us.
Where? Here? My office?
No, don't worry, Jenny. I wasn't thinking of chucking you out. No, we could all make a sacrifice by giving up the staff common room. It's only used for coffee breaks and lunchtime, and with people working such funny hours, it's only ever half used. We could use the general canteen instead.
I think that could work, Sam. And people would understand that it's for the benefit of the centre. Amanda, Bill, what do you think? If you can get your staff to agree to giving up the common room, then we can have our creche.
So, we'll use the canteen like everybody else?
Exactly. Unless, of course, you think that'd be a problem.
No, it sounds great. I'm sure the others will have no objections. I'll speak to them this evening.
Yeah, let's give it a try.
Good. We agree. Let's go to work.
Sam found a potential solution. How did he do it? This situation could have ended badly, but Jenny went about reaching agreement the correct way. She insisted on discussion, looked for opinions and ideas, and mostly avoided conflict. Amanda and Bill felt they were going to lose out, but then Sam came up with a creative alternative, which was acceptable to everyone. The role of the negotiator is to facilitate agreement by finding a solution to conflicting interests, smoothing differences which cause conflict, taking a broad view of the issue, divorcing personalities and issues, and finally being flexible and creative.